Hello dear chess lovers, Suren here with another mind-blowing game for you. With the white piece is playing Eduard Gufeld and his opponent is Lubomir Kavalek. This game was played at 1962 Student Olympiad. Gufeld started with e4 and e5 by Kavalek, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. We see the Ruy Lopez bishop c5. Black is choosing the classical variation c3 and a hyper-aggressive move by Kavalek f5. Black goes for Cordel Gambit. d4. Well, actually, instead of playing d4, e takes f5 gives white better chances if e4 then d4, counter-attacking black bishop. But after f5 we see d4. F takes e4, knight g5 and simply bishop b6. d5. Well, instead of playing d5, not quite clear why not knight takes e4, but instead after bishop b6 we see d5. In return, instead of moving away his knight, Lubomir Kavalek played e3. What's going on? He's cutting this bishop's diagonal and is threatening in return to capture the knight on g5. Knight e4. Well, instead of playing knight e4, bishop takes e3 is better, and after bishop takes e3, white can play knight e6, a very interesting move offered by the engine. If d takes e6, then d takes c6, and after the exchange of queens on d1, right now white is threatening c takes b7, king e7, white is winning back the piece, and of course this continuation would have been better for white, but instead after e3 we see knight e4. Queen h4, both attacking the knight, also intensifying the pressure on f2 square. Queen f3. Right now, as you can see, still the knight on c6 square is under attack, but Kavalek didn't even pay attention to that knight. He played knight f6. Look at this. And after knight takes f6 check, g takes f6, finally Gufeld captured on c6. But in return, black is capturing on f2, giving a check. King d1, a very strange move, not quite clear why not king f1. Of course, from the first glance this looks more natural, but instead we see king d1. D takes c6, both attacking the bishop, and also black is creating a very dangerous bishop g4 threat. Bishop e2 acting against bishop g4 and simply bishop e6, allowing queen h5 check, and we see the exchange of queens on h5 square, king e7. Right now, if we have a look at the position, black only has 3 pawns against the piece, but let's see, is this enough to win the game? b3, the bishop is coming to make some problems for black king. Bishop d5 targeting the pawn on g2, bishop a3 check, king e6, bishop g4 check, and after f5 the bishop goes on h3 square protecting the pawn. Pretty nice bishop maneuver actually. Rook g8, and after knight d2, black is winning one more pawn. Bishop takes g2. We see the exchange of bishops on g2 square, rook f1, rook d8, pinning the knight and not even allowing white to breathe. King e2. And now question arises, what's next? How is black going to proceed with the game? But in this position, Lubomir Kavalek went for another mind-blowing move. He simply captured on d2. King takes d2 and the e-pawn marches forward. Bishop f8. White is intending to play b4 and then exchange the bishops. But now the f-pawn is marching forward. f4. Actually, this is not a pawn storm. This is an avalanche. b4, rook g5. Again, a very cunning move. And after bishop c5, Lubomir Kavalek played another fantastic move. This time he captured on c5 with a rook. What's going on? Yes, Kavalek trusts his pawns. B takes c5, bishop takes c5. These poor rooks are just unable to stop these pawns supported by their king and bishop. Rook b1. And now comes the f-pawn f3, rook b4, but of course no one is going to capture this poor rook. King f5, rook d4, and finally Kavalek wins the rook. C takes d4, king f4, and in this position Eduard Gufeld resigned. Please pay attention, the game is already over, but no single black pawn was wounded or killed. All 8 black pawns are on the board. This is amazing. Right now the threat is e3 check, and if rook takes f2, simply e3, and then after winning the rook on f2 square, these two pawns will simply march forward and it's over. This is an easy win. A very fascinating game, I think. The way Lubomir Kavalek just pushed his pawns forward was just astonishing. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this mind-blowing game. Your likes and shares are appreciated, and I wish you good luck.